Okay, part 2 of the fire. So, I did the weather and stuff in my last video, and just kind of what was going on during the school day. So, this next part is after school, and I'm just talking to my friend, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. So, I had packed up my bag. I had gear in there. I was going to put shovels and hose and rakes and stuff so that if I needed to do anything with the fire, I was able to. Not that I had any intention of it, but better be safe than sorry. Uh, so, yeah, I called a friend and he was talking, he was getting his stuff ready, and tons of other people in town were packing up stuff. Like one of my other friends in my class, he'd packed up all guns and clothes. His mom had him carrying out dressers, like dresser drawers full of clothes. So there were some people that were pretty panicked about it, and rightfully so. It was not good. So we made a plan. If the fire got to town and we were supposed to evacuate, I mean, this is my own plan, not what my parents were going to do. I'm sure it would have been way different because they were at work at that time. They were working here in the bowling alley. So, called. We made the plan to go to the Isaac Walton, which was, I don't know, 2.5 or so miles out of town, south of town. And we would just kind of meet up there and go from what we had thought. So, called me back, and he had a scanner going. His grandpa has a scanner or something. So, we were kind of listening into it, and he said there was a whole bunch of panic chatter, and there were so many crews on duty at that time that it's just a lot of people on a station. Then I got a call to go to the bowling alley because some guy donated some pizza to the fire department, so I had to go down there and deliver pizza. I mean, no firefighters were there, but they all ran it north of town to the airport, which is probably about 3 miles or so north of town, and they were using that as a base. Just kind of everybody was meeting up there, refilling food, water, all that stuff was up there. So there were people constantly running back and forth from there. So, yeah, when I went to the fire hall, there were so many vehicles, so many people out there helping. There was already so much food, water, and they had the Anheuser-Busch water cans there. That was kind of cool. I thought it was beer, and I was like, well, I guess after a long day like this, they're all gonna want a beer. So then I went back to my friends, and I had dropped off a walkie-talkie for him, just in case anything else happened. We were just gonna work on walkie-talkie. I was telling him what channel we were running, and so, let's see. Oh yeah, we were just sitting on his tailgate for a little bit, and we went over and talked to somebody at the fire hall to see what was happening, and she made it sound like the fire was at the airport. So we're like, oh gosh, this thing's made quick movement. This isn't good. It thankfully didn't. It was still a couple miles north. But by that time it had crossed 283, so it was on the west side of 283 and had crossed over, and friend said he thought he heard there was a crash north of town, and it did turn out to be a crash. A Elwood's fire chief, Darren Kroll, pretty sure that was his name, yeah. And then a Jeep from Arapahoe had crashed, and the guys from in the Jeep, they were South Africans. They'd come here to work. There's a lot of them around here, but they work on farms and stuff. So they went out and helped. and I think one of the guys broke both hips. One got a concussion, and there's something else. They weren't too bad other than the hips, but the Elwood fire chief was killed there. He was the only casualty of the fire. But yeah, it was not a good situation. His vehicle was in rough condition. Yeah, it wasn't good. That funeral was, God, there's so many people from all over the state. Like, they had a line down Elwood, and they were carrying him in the back of a fire truck, his casket, and there were just so many people following. It was crazy. I remember watching it. Anyways, as we were sitting on the tailgate of his truck, there was 3 tractors came from the south. They were using their discs to make fire breaks in fields and stuff, and we all got excited because he really likes farming and stuff. So we're like, oh, that's cool, that's sweet. That was weird. I don't know what went by. Looked like a fire truck. No flash, no lights on. So his neighbor actually ended up talking to us, and she got her dogs and stuff out of her house, and she told us to turn a sprinkler on in her yard, and she left town. I don't really know where she went, but she left. So, came to the bowling alley again, and I don't know, we had league that night, so there were some people bowling, or making up bowling. He was here for a while. Anyways, sorry, I gotta look at, I have a whole, doc of what I wrote in here and stuff. Oh yeah, so, my mom was going to check on our friend's house, which was just on the edge of town, wondering if it was all right and everything, if we could see anything, because they were out of town at the time. They were in Holdridge, and they had also closed Highway 6 and 34, so we couldn't go east out of town, we couldn't go north out of town, so it was kind of a mess. So we went there, and yeah, we could see the flames by the time we were at the house. We got out, and you could just see it on the ridge. So at that time, it was less than a mile out of town. Like, it just barely skimmed by. So it did burn. Here, I'll show the video of the fire on the hill, if it'll load. This is a video I took from their house. So all there is a cornfield and Oak Creek, and then another field up top on the hills. So it was not good. And those flames were high. And see, I went fishing the next day. Yeah. So we could see it, and she was calling people who own the house, and it was a mess. But if it had gotten into town and gotten over that creek, a lot of that edge of town would have been gone, because we didn't have nearly enough people up there. I mean, we could see some people driving up on the ridge, but it wasn't enough. But if it would have gotten down that hill into that fire, or into the creek bed, and it's a dry creek bed, everything would have gone up. It would not have been good. We would have lost the construction company, probably Landmark, which is a ag dealership, and then some of those houses on that side. Oh, I'll pull up Google Maps. I'll show that. Yeah. Sorry, this is going to be kind of a long video. So, Our friend's house is like right here. It's this house. That fire was here. It was burning this ridge. Elk Creek's here, just a field. So we got that close to town. And burned all this up here. So, yeah. I'll probably end that video there. If you haven't watched the first one, go watch that one. You'll get more context of what was happening. And I'm gonna make some more. We'll keep finishing this out. So, thank you.